Welcome to the channel. I'm Pocket Doc. There is a powerful and persistent myth that many of us have come to accept without question. Brand name medications are inherently superior to their generic counterparts. We walk the pharmacy aisles, our eyes scanning for the familiar logos and brightly colored boxes. We've seen countless times in television commercials. We instinctively reach for the name we trust, associating the higher price tag with greater efficacy, faster relief, or a higher standard of safety. This belief is so ingrained in our consumer habits that we often pay double, triple, or even more for a product, convinced that we are making a better choice for our health. But what if this deeply held conviction is little more than a grand illusion, a trick of marketing expertly designed to separate us from our hard-earned money? The reality, as confirmed by regulatory bodies and medical professionals worldwide, is far simpler and much less expensive. The core of a medication, the very substance that alleviates your headache, reduces your fever, or manages your blood pressure, is the active ingredient. For the vast majority of drugs on the market, the active ingredient in the brand name product is chemically identical to the active ingredient in its generic equivalent. To truly grasp the concept, let's start with one of the most common examples you'll find in any pharmacy or supermarket: Tylenol versus acetaminophen. When you have a headache and reach for a bottle of extra-strength Tylenol, you are buying a product from a specific company, McNeil Consumer Healthcare. Tylenol is the brand name they have created, promoted, and protected. It is a registered trademark, a familiar name built into a household staple through decades of advertising and consumer trust. The name itself has no medicinal properties. It is simply a marketing tool that commands a premium price on the shelf. Now turn that Tylenol box over and look for the active ingredient section on the drug facts label. There, you will find acetaminophen, 500 milligrams. This is the generic, the official scientific name of the compound responsible for relieving your pain, responsible for reducing your fever. When you purchase a store brand or generic acetaminophen, you are buying the same active ingredient at the same dosage. The medicine inside is, for all intents and purposes, identical in therapeutic effect. The main difference you're likely to notice is the much lower price. This principle applies across over-the-counter medicines. Consider Advil. Advil is the brand name, owned by Haleon. Its active ingredient is ibuprofen. Walk a few feet down the aisle and you'll find generic ibuprofen for a fraction of the cost. Both branded Advil and generic ibuprofen are designed to reduce pain, reduce inflammation. Because they share the same active component, you're not choosing a different drug, just different packaging and price points. This extends into prescription meds, where cost disparities can be dramatic. A doctor might prescribe Norvasc for high blood pressure. After its patent expired, generics appeared. The active ingredient in Norvasc is amlodipine mesylate. Filling with generic amlodipine gives the same blood pressure control as brand Norvasc. The difference in monthly copay or out-of-pocket cost can be substantial, making this distinction critical for managing healthcare expenses. We are often conditioned to believe that you get what you pay for, but in the world of pharmaceuticals, you are frequently paying for a name, a logo, and the enormous marketing budget required to make that name famous. The medicine itself, the crucial component doing the actual work inside your body, is often the same, regardless of the price you paid for the box it came in. This journey into the world of brand name versus generic drugs is about correcting a common and costly misconception. It is about understanding the rigorous science that ensures generics are just as safe and effective as the brands they replicate. By peeling back the layers of marketing and perception, we can expose the simple truth at the heart of the matter. The choice between a brand and a generic is rarely a choice between good and better medicine, and paying only for the medicine you actually need. Understanding this distinction is not just about saving a few dollars on a bottle of pain relievers, it's a fundamental principle of health literacy that can translate into thousands of dollars in savings over a lifetime, especially for those managing chronic conditions with daily prescription medications. A common fear that drives consumers to pay more for brand names is the worry that a generic version is somehow weaker, less pure, or not as effective. This concern, while understandable, is largely unfounded due to the stringent regulations enforced by agencies like the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, Before any generic drug can be sold, its manufacturer must submit an abbreviated new drug application, an ANDA, to the FDA. This application must prove, through rigorous scientific testing, that the generic is equivalent to its brand name predecessor in every way that matters for patient outcomes. This ensures a consistent standard of quality and performance across the board. The cornerstone of this approval process is the concept of bioequivalence. This is a scientific term meaning that the generic drug must deliver the same amount of its active ingredient into a patient's bloodstream over the same period of time as the brand name drug. The FDA requires bioequivalence studies where volunteers are given either the brand name drug or the generic version. Blood samples are then drawn and analyzed to measure the rate and extent of drug absorption. The results for the generic must fall within a very tight, statistically defined range of the brand name drug to be deemed bioequivalent and earn FDA approval. Beyond just the active ingredient, the FDA's review is comprehensive. It must have the same dosage form, for example tablet or capsule, the same route of administration, for example oral, and the same strength. Furthermore, the manufacturing facility where the generic drug is produced must meet the same strict quality standards. Identity, strength, purity, quality. These facilities are subject to periodic FDA inspections to ensure they remain in compliance long after the drug is approved. Essentially, the FDA's regulatory framework is designed to guarantee that your experience with a generic medication will be the same as your experience with the brand name version. While inactive ingredients may differ, fillers, dyes, binders, accounts for the different shapes and colors of pills, the active ingredient must be identical, and its performance within the body must be scientifically proven to be the same. This robust system of checks and balances is what allows you and your doctor to be confident that choosing a generic is a safe and effective way to receive your treatment. Understanding why a bottle of generic acetaminophen costs significantly less than a bottle of Tylenol requires a look into the economics of the pharmaceutical industry. The journey from lab concept to medicine cabinet is incredibly long and expensive. The original manufacturer invests massive amounts of capital, often hundreds of millions, sometimes billions, into research and development. This includes discovering the new drug, conducting extensive preclinical testing, running multi-phase clinical trials on human subjects. This entire process can easily take a decade or more. To let companies recoup these investments, the government grants them market exclusivity through patents. Patent protection typically lasts for up to 20 years from the initial filing. That patent-backed monopoly gives the brand company control over pricing. They also spend enormous sums on marketing and advertising to build brand recognition and persuade doctors to prescribe it, and persuade patients to ask for it by name. All those costs are factored into the high price at the pharmacy counter. Once patents expire, the market opens and other companies can make generics. Generics have a big advantage. They don't have to repeat costly clinical trials. The brand already did that work. Instead, generics prove bioequivalence to the FDA with much cheaper testing. Visual cost comparison. Multiple generic manufacturers then start producing the same drug. That competition predictably drives prices down. Generics compete mainly on price. They don't carry the same R&D overhead to recoup, and they spend very little on consumer advertising. The result, a medication that's safe, effective, identical, sold for as much as 80 to 85% less than its brand name counterpart, passing those incredible savings directly onto you, your insurance company, and the healthcare system as a whole. For instance, a patient might have a known allergy to a particular dye used to color a generic tablet, or a sensitivity to a filler like lactose, which could be present in a generic but not in the brand name version. In such a case, experiencing an adverse reaction like hives, an upset stomach, or another allergic response after switching to a generic would be a valid reason to switch back to the brand or try a different generic from another manufacturer. These reactions are not due to the medicine itself being different, but rather to the different recipe of inactive ingredients used to formulate the pill. It's a rare occurrence, but one that your pharmacist and doctor should be made aware of if you suspect it. Another area where some physicians exercise extra caution is with drugs that have a narrow therapeutic index. These are medications where a very small difference in the dose or blood concentration can lead to a significant change in effect, potentially causing serious therapeutic failure or toxicity. Examples include certain anti-seizure medications like carbamazepine, blood thinners like warfarin, thyroid hormones like levothyroxine. While the FDA maintains that the bioequivalence standards for generics are sufficient even for NTI drugs, some clinicians prefer to keep their patients on a consistent product, whether it's the brand or a specific generic manufacturer, to avoid even minor variations. If your doctor makes a switch between formulations for an NTI drug, they may recommend closer monitoring, such as more frequent blood tests, to ensure the drug level remains in the desired therapeutic range. Ultimately, if your doctor writes dispense as written or brand medically necessary on your prescription, it is crucial to follow that instruction. They have a specific clinical reason for that decision, based on your unique medical history. This collaborative communication between you, your doctor, and your pharmacist is the best way to ensure you are receiving the most appropriate, safe, and effective treatment for your specific needs. Armed with the knowledge, generics offer an identical therapeutic benefit at a lower cost for most people. You can now take proactive steps to make smarter, more economical choices about your medications. The journey to savings doesn't have to be complicated. It starts with simple questions, a bit of awareness. Integrate a few key habits into your healthcare routine. You can ensure you are not overpaying for the medicine you need. Today, as of December 28, 2025, these strategies are more relevant than ever amid rising healthcare costs. First and foremost, make your pharmacist your ally. They're accessible and a fountain of knowledge on this topic. The next time you drop off a prescription or buy an over-the-counter remedy, ask, is there a generic version of this available, and would it be appropriate for me? They can tell you if a generic exists and the price difference. For prescriptions, they can contact your doctor's office to get approval for a switch. This single question can unlock significant savings. Second, become an avid label reader. Ignore the flashy front. Flip it over to the drug facts label. Identify the active ingredient and its strength. Look for ibuprofen 200 mg or acetaminophen 500 mg. Then compare brand name and store brand boxes, side by side. This verification puts you in control. Third, compare prices. Check your insurance coverage. Insurance often has a tiered formulary. Generics are usually preferred with the lowest copay. Some plans may refuse to cover a brand name if a generic exists unless your doctor justifies it. Look into pharmacy discount cards and apps. They can beat insurance copays sometimes. A few minutes of comparison can lead to substantial savings. Finally, maintain an open dialogue with your healthcare providers. Trust the evidence that generics are safe and effective, but also trust your body. If you switch to a generic and feel different or suspect a reaction, report it to your doctor or pharmacist immediately. They can help troubleshoot. The ultimate goal is the medication that works best for you at the best price. Question the price tag. Consult your healthcare team. Ask the expert. Check with your pharmacist or doctor to confirm the best choice for you. Like and subscribe for more smart savings. Thanks for watching.